without anyone telling you not to.
It's to an extent.
You can do it whatever you want. Just know that there's consequences.
That's what I'm getting to. You know, yeah.
That's all it is.
You guys have the right to believe whatever you want, to do what you want. Yeah, everybody has freedom. You know what I mean? Before I counter-argue and make my statement, but you know, like we live in America where we have freedom. People come here for freedom, right? Our founding forefathers, everybody went to war for our freedom. Martin Luther King went to war for freedom.
My freedom!
Hallelujah! Know what I'm saying? So we didn't do all of that. We didn't go. The people who lived before us in history didn't go through all of that for nothing. We all did it because everyone was tired of people telling them what to do or forcing them to do something. So what I'm trying to get to is that I believe, yes, that people have the right to do whatever they want to do. If they want to do drugs and hurt their body, let them do it. You can't force them not to do it or tell them no, you can't do it. Like who cares? Who cares what they think, or like, you know, if they're hurting themselves? Just think about yourself. You know what I'm saying? You have problems yourself that you need to focus on yourself before judging somebody else. And so yeah, that's my opening statement.
Okay, my name is Alma, and this is Michelle, Frida, Sherry, and Aaron. Okay, do individuals have an instinct to try to consume recreational substances regardless of legality? Well, do we have the right to walk naked?
Yeah.
Cody. Do we have the right to? I say no. The state has the right to restrict or regulate the use of substances that might be harmful for the civil society. The Constitution gives us inalienable rights such as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, but not the unrestricted right to do whatever we want. No laughing in there. Okay, drug use. The argument that drugs is a personal choice. It affects no one but the user. No harm is caused to others. So government has no right to interfere, even if intervention might benefit the individual. By logical extension, this will mean that if the individual became an addict who needed treatment, the rest of society, acting through the government, will have no legal or moral obligation to respond. All self-heal legalization advocates are quite so rigorous in pursuing the argument to such a conclusion. To answer your question about freedom, did you take a history class?
You know, we will do that later.
Okay.
It's an opening statement.
Okay.
Okay?
You want to fight now?
So if you think,
Sorry.
if we have the right to do whatever we want, how about yelling the word bomb in an airplane? Do that and see what happens.
Hold the phone. That's it. Hold the phone. Okay. Okay, now we have the youth group here presenting the argument. Followed by legal, and you have...
Okay.
Wait a second.
Before I forget.
You have 5 minutes, you and your group,
Okay.
and then followed by your guys. To cross-examine the speaker. Cross-examine, not just present the argument.
Okay, they're getting off topic. Whatever they're saying, they're mocking me of my own knowledge. And saying, did I attend a history class? I did. And then she quoted the Declaration. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their creation with certain unalienable rights. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If that makes somebody happy doing what they do in drugs, let them be. Quit, you know, don't judge them for or tell them not to do it. And because you quoted that, but seems like you guys should be on our side against that. If you're quoting that, like, about freedom and stuff, we have the right to do, we have the right to, like, you know, get naked, run around. No one can tell you no. You know what I mean? No one's gonna stop you to do that. And like, you know what I mean? And like, why are like my main thing, like, why are you guys so concerned about, like, oh no, they shouldn't be doing that, they shouldn't, when we ourselves have our own problems that we do that we shouldn't even be doing in the first place. So why judge another person? Let them be. Let everybody live their life. Everybody is an individual. We all live here in America for freedom. This is the land of the free, home of the brave. God bless America.
Anyone else in here
Vote for president.
wanna follow? No? The negative side.
Wait, we're cross-examining what they just said, right?
Yeah, what you gonna do now, you're gonna process that.
Wait, that was 1 minute. I have 4 minutes. Hey, yeah.
got 4 minutes, right?
Go Jane!
Come on, Jane! As I said, yes, I believe, because people have the right to ingest substance of their choosing, regardless of legality. Why? Because individuals have the rights to choose what they will consume, whether those substances are legal or not. The legality of those substances are separate issues from the individual right to decide what they will ingest. People should be able to decide for themselves what type of substance they will consume, and to make decisions to whether or not they want to incur the side effects associated with their use. Removing this right to decide removes free will, and substituting group decision making. Every individual is different, and preservation of the right to choose should be maintained. So that's my rights. My rights to do whatever I want, to ingest whatever I want. Right?
Can you get an Oscar? You know, I'm your team, girl.
1 minute and a half.
We cannot have our government criminalize our acts solely because they are harmful to the users. By doing so, we should criminalize overeating, lack of exercise, alcohol, caffeine use, and tobacco products, stimulants, and fats. The government must protect everyone's liberty, even if some choose to use liberty to destroy their bodies. Liberty to protect. It must protect liberty. The government of the United States' main purpose for the citizens is to protect liberty. Liberty must be protected for all, even if the individuals use their liberty to destroy themselves. Liberty is the condition of being free from restrictions or control.
Time's up.
No, we have 1 minute.
Time's up.
5 more minutes.
Time's up, so sorry. Okay, now this side is we're going to question what they have presented. You're not going to take the case yet. You are going to question it, and you have three minutes. So each one of you can answer.
Come on, Carrie!
Okay, come on, time's up.
Okay, so Chris made the point of that you can do whatever makes you happy. That's part of being a free person. That's part of living in this country. So you're saying that if murder makes me happy, I can murder someone? If you're saying if my significant other beats me, but he's happy, that's okay? Not only is he hurting himself by doing whatever drugs or anything he wants to do, he's also hurting other people. The laws are made to protect people. That's why things are illegal. That's why you need a prescription when you get something from the doctor. That's why you can't just go to the pharmacy and pick from the shelf of what you want. That's what the laws are for. Even though we're free, we still do have to live by regulations, which make this country run smoothly. For the most part.
For 5 minutes. We want to hear Ray.
Miss Emma, sit down.
Your discussion for the negative perspective.
I'm still doing it, I guess.
Yeah, you still.
Okay.
Okay, Chris.
Come on, Michelle.
Chris, you don't need to pick on you, it's just that you were the only one who said that.
I'll die for this. It's beautiful. It's
Don't start yet. Okay, there you go. All right.
No, that's how you win.
It's
a baby.
Who cares about what I put inside my body? Does a pregnant lady have the right to put whatever she wants inside her? Yes or no? No.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
She doesn't have the right.
She has the right.
Ask this lady inside her if she has the right to put, does she want that person inside her? There are two persons there, it's not just one person now. There are two. So you're violating this little girl's right, or this little boy's right? Why? Because it's my right to put inside whatever I choose. If I'm pregnant and I want to
If I want to smoke, if I want to drink, if I want to use cocaine and I'm pregnant, it's my right. Yeah, it's your right. Tell that to the baby who's born 6 months premature. Tell that to the preemie that needs to be in the incubator for so many months. Because the mother had the right to do whatever she wanted with her body. It's my body, I can do whatever I want with it. Good for you. But what, you know what? Go out to the jungle where there's no one around you, where you can.
All right, girl, you got it. Go to the jungle.
In your response to who cares, this little girl cares. What happens to her?
Did she tell you that? I'm just kidding.
Oh, look at her. Oh, wow. All right, Michelle.
Okay, you guys, before we really take it out, let's listen to them do their constructed speech for 5 minutes.
It was a negative cross-examination. It was a cross-examination.
Yeah, she crossed
No, it's your turn.
No, it's our speech.
No, you guys.
Now it's time for them to do their 5 minutes.
Oh, come on, Michelle. Come back, girl.
To the jungle.
Let's go back to the jungle.
First, what we're gonna do now, that was just, believe it or not, that was just the cross-examination to you guys. Now, she has to stay up, and it's not just her, all of you guys. We have to present your constructed speech, and that is 5 minutes.
All right. Take
Then,
your
we
time.
will took it out. Five minutes for that one.
Okay. All right. I agree. The government has too many rules on us. The government telling me what to do. The government telling me what not to do. Okay. Freedom. We are a nation of freedom. That's why many of us that are immigrants want to come here. Why? Because in our home country, in our home country, especially in Mexico, we have, which is still considered a third world country, we have so many restrictions. You know, and we see the United States as a land of opportunities, and we all know that. And we're thankful to be here, and we're thankful to follow rules. So, one rule is do not do drugs, regardless of they're legal or not. Why? Like what Carrie was saying, why do they put restrictions on prescription drugs? Why? Because obviously the government doesn't want people. We've seen the effects that even prescription drugs have had on people that take them. There are so many consequences, and all of you should know this, the side effects. Sometimes it's like, really? I'm going to be taking this, and I'm going to be getting a whole bunch of other things on here? It's like, I don't think so, but you still do it. But why do they regulate those drugs? Obviously because of the side effects. Why am I going to choose something that's doing me harm? Sure, first of all, and someone that uses drugs never goes, someone that uses drugs doesn't start saying no. Well, you know what? It's my right. Sure, it's your right. And nothing's going to happen to me. I'm just going to do it on the weekend. Well, guess what? That weekend amounts to another weekend, another weekend, another weekend, your whole life. There are drugs that the effects don't disappear just then.
Eric will be focusing on some of that, so she'll tell you about that. But why are we putting something in our body that's doing us harm? Sure, because it's my body, that's the whole point of it, right?
Right.
But what about your families? Don't you think about them?
That's right.
We all have families. If, we're lucky enough, we have families, we have people that care about us. Then why are we tossing them to the side, saying, you know what, it's my right to do it. I don't care if I have a 10-year-old at home. I don't care if I'm 60 years old. You'll still have someone caring for you. And I am sorry, it's not your right to put whatever you want inside your body. Sure, this is a little bit out of the scope of things. When you eat, obesity, sure, you're putting inside something inside your body because you want to. At the same time, it's going to harm you down. It's the same with drugs. Down the road, everything accumulates. I'm young, I'm going to go have fun, I'm going to party. Why are we, as a society, so focused on creating idols of Jim Morrison, Bruce Lee? What do they have in common? Overdose. On what? They didn't overdose on a cheeseburger. They overdose on drugs.
Oh.
She used him.
Exactly. He used them. Why are we? Oh, she was such a good lady. I didn't know her. I'm not judging her. I'm not judging anyone. But at the same time, you're putting this person up in a pedestal when my kids are seeing that person. Because, okay, I like the way she sang, but let's be realistic, people. She was doing drugs. Whether you want to or not, she was doing drugs. And why are we putting these people up in a pedestal, telling my 10-year-old, oh, you should be like her? Well, 10-year-old thinks, oh.
She should have been an
If she wants,
You have something?
hold on, please.
Yeah. I feel like we're into the vista and the topic is all the way to temecula.
Because it affects the media. The media affects everyone worldwide. It doesn't affect just Chula Vista. Do you have a TV at home?
I don't care about Whitney, you should put it on the
Come on, Michelle, keep it going, girl.
Keep the argument going.
1 minute?
Okay.
Okay, so I leave a minute. So basically you're trying to base it off of that you're not just hurting yourself, you're hurting the people around you. When you have kids and you're a drug addict, there are national level studies have shown that parents who abuse drugs often put their kids second to obtain their drugs. And in a study in 2002 to 2003 indicates 4.3% of pregnant women ages 15 to 44 report having used illicit drugs in the past month. Moreover, the same data shows 8.5% of new mothers have reported using illicit drugs in the past month. So now they're putting their babies second to make sure that they get to do whatever they want to do because it's their right, even though they're supposed to be protecting this younger child. So it doesn't just affect them, it affects their kids, it affects the economy, it's expensive when they get caught. It affects them long term. They don't know the side effects 20, 30 years down the road. They think they stop and they're good, but really they're not. So that's what we're basing it off of, that it's not just their own person.
Okay, now, it's the rebuttal of that, so you guys can stand and do it. Can you guys stand?
All right, look, this is for Michelle. Michelle, where you at? Okay. Look, there are many reasons not to do drugs, including legality and consuming a controlled substance. There are many drugs that are legal that have the same effects as illegal ones. What people want to take shouldn't matter. We can't police self-destruction. If more drugs were legal, more people would take them. And the fact of the matter is that people are going to do what they want. And Carrie, you said something about a relationship or whatever. People have free will. And if they want to cut themselves, or they want to stay in an abusive relationship, or not, or you're eating junk food, or beat themselves up, or do whatever, drink until they pass out, or take drugs, they have the right to do it. It's morality, what Eddie was saying. You know, it is morality, right? It's a desirable behavior. Does society approve? Is it illegal? Is it legal? Those are all like separate issues. So when it comes down to it, a person can ingest like whatever they want to do, even if it kills them. And so what? So what? They get drunk. So what? They smoke weed. They just have
that's
fun.
my song. That's my song.
You only live once, YOLO, that's the motto.
That's a jam right there.
Okay, if illegal recreational substances harm only the individual you're saying, then I would easily figure out proof with you. But, have you ever heard of meth? And this is not touching on one specific drug. This is touching on everything, but this is just an example. Have you ever heard of meth? MADD?
Yes.
Yes. Mothers Against Drunk Driving. You said, I have the right to drink, right? Okay, that's a drug, right? Yes, no? Okay, that's still a drug. Okay. I'm at the party, or I'm even at home. Oh, watching the football game. Oh, my 12-pack is gone. I need to go to the store and get a 12-pack. Where are my keys? Car keys? Okay. Started.
Or you should ask someone to buy it for you.
Get my shades on.
Oh, you know it.
I'm by myself. Get my shades on. Get my beamer started. Red light. I don't care. No one's coming. Boom. I just killed someone. Why? Because it was my right to drink. It's my right to drive. It's my right to go to the store drunk if I want to. Why? Because I want more beer. Why? Because it's my right.
I'm telling your teammates to stay.
Alright,
Wait, I'm telling you guys to come work in here and stand and ask questions.
Hold hands, guys, hold hands.
alright. Let me just remind you, okay, we're talking about recreational substances.
Alcohol is a recreation.
Alcohol is, okay, what is the difference? What is the difference between illegal drugs and alcohol? If they're the same recreational substances.
I'm sorry.
Okay, what is the difference between illegal drugs and alcohol? If you're saying they're the same substances.
We're not debating illegal or legal. We're
Regardless of legality.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. The only difference, okay, they're taxing alcohol. Okay, you know if illegal drugs being taxed and regulated, okay, anything that's in excessive that we use is bad for us. I don't care what it is. Sex, food, they're all bad for you. Okay?
Not sex.
Too much exercise bad for you. That's why they call it recreational. Once you use it excessively, then it's not recreational anymore.
But you can use meth
Gary,
recreationally.
hold on a second. You know deep inside that, you know.
You're on our side, Gary.
So don't even try.
Watch out.
If they legalize, okay, drugs or marijuana just in case, I'm not saying I use all that stuff. No, I'm against that. I don't use it. I don't even drink. But the fact of the matter is been in existence for like 1,000 years. And nobody can stop anybody. You can put a law that, okay, you use this, you get a firing squad. Or you die in a guillotine. They're not gonna stop using that. Just like alcohol, when they did the prohibition back in the 30s, what happened? It only lasted for what? And you know what happened? It's happening the same thing. Back then, they got the mafia, Al Capone, you know, the Chicago big guys. Now, what do we have? We have the Mexico drug cartels. Right?
Yes.
And you're talking about Mexico. That's what making Mexico hard.
And look what's going on in Mexico. Look what's going on there.
Where?
Young,
There's another Mexico?
no. Look what's going on in Mexico.
Exactly, because of the drug cartels. Look, I don't see any Mexican cartels bringing alcohol illegally across the border to the States.
May I just interrupt for a second? Why is it that it's always a cow?
She got the ball.
Excuse me, I'm not done yet. Alright, when Michelle talks about pregnancy, I'm sorry, it's not my fault I can't get pregnant. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you that
I'm not gonna argue with you. They should. If you're pregnant, why would you take drugs in the first place?
They do.
Why? It's moral. You have to be smart. Yeah, there's a right, but you have to know what you're doing. You know what I mean? That's moral. You're dumb as a brick if you're taking drugs and you're pregnant. You already had to maybe because of drugs in the first place, and now you're gonna say, oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. First of all, this person was drug addicts even before they became pregnant. So there's some mental thing going on there because they're already messed up. So how are you gonna tell me that somebody that's been, for example, doing drugs for 5 years, he gets pregnant? Oh, I'm gonna stop this to my baby. Sure, she might think that, she might want that. She might even do rehab, but it's not gonna work. She's still gonna put something inside her because her body is so used to that drug that being pregnant for her is less important than taking the drug.
I got it. I understand where you're coming from, but the topic is, do they have the right? Yes, they have the right. They're pregnant. Yeah, they take drugs. Who cares? That's not you. That's their fault. You know what I'm saying? You care. What are you doing about it? What are you guys doing about that? You care. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people you can't help. You know what I'm saying? You can't help everybody. You cannot help everybody in this world. You can't be a savior for everybody. What can we do? People make their own decisions to do what they want to do. They
Obviously don't even help themselves. Why would you want to help somebody that doesn't help themselves?
Come on, I'm up.
You know what I mean?
Go, Carrie.
I want to hear what Carrie has to say.
I have something to say to the statement Chris just made. Why are we all in this field? Because we want to help.
That's right. Woo!
I'm in this room for the money.
Don't lie, y'all. Don't lie.
Eric.
I'm doing it because it was a calling. Remember that crap?
Hey, thank you, see? End of discussion.
She just admitted it. She just admitted it.
We're familiar with LSD, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So it has flashbacks. So we are like what you're saying about we have to let the people take the LSD in their home. That's their right? You're saying that? And then they can hurt anyone. And then when they have the flashback on these medications and they're driving, they can kill anybody. Like they can crash and then you're killing somebody else too.
Once again, I'm not gonna let my child, like just say my son. No, she's asking me now.
Oh, okay.
I have to respond, okay? If it was my son, I'm not gonna let him take that, but that doesn't mean I can't stop him. I can't stop him.
No, that's not. Like the bus driver now, he's getting, like in your opinion, he can take LSD, and then he can drive, and then he can crash, and then we will say that the bus driver chose to take the LSD, did not hurt anyone? We will say that?
This is recreation, we're talking about recreational.
No,
No, what I'm saying is recreational. That means it's on your day off. Okay, I'm in school right now. Is this recreational? No! You're getting confused though.
It's a
Gateway.
to have drugs get to use
We're not talking about abusing.
It's impossible to use recreational drugs.
One at a time, please.
Why is it's impossible to use recreational drugs? Why? Because you will become addicted and that affects.
You're giving them an excuse. That's why every time they did something wrong under the influence, all they gotta say, oh, I'm sick. Addiction is a disease. Alcoholism is a sickness. And that's all they say. I kill like 10, 40 people and I go to court. Oh, I plead that I'm mentally ill. I'm sorry I did that because I'm mentally ill.
Well, they will find alcohol in you. If you guys have read about the brain and drugs,
there is proof that there's brain changes and people who have used drugs.
We are not arguing that.
Robert, what do you have to say?
Well, I'm just gonna ask something.
May I have the floor? May I have the floor?
I just want to ask something, because the topic is all about recreational drugs. What's the difference between recreational and drug abuse? What's your definition about recreational drugs?
He just said, recreational means it's controlled. You are in control.
But if you have
If you pass out, you're not in control. And you're not recreating.
Recreation is not every day, it's on occasion.
What I'm saying is, you waste my time, you mention it, like, I learned that from school. Everything is bad for you. You're telling me.
But we're not talking about legal.
Okay.
No, I don't need to know
Let me
that.
read this.
I already know that.
Let me read this. I have this. My goal in life wasn't living, it was getting high. Over the years, I turned to cocaine, marijuana, and alcohol under a false belief it would allow me to escape my problems. It just made things worse. I kept saying to myself, respect.
That's out of order.
I kept saying to myself, I'm going to stop permanently. After using the last time, it never happened. Why? I became addicted to drugs. It started with the weed, then pills, ecstasy, and acid, making cocktails, all sort of drugs, even overdosing to make the rushes last longer. I had a bad trip one night. I prayed and cried for these feelings to go away. I had voices in my head, had the shakes and couldn't leave home for 6 months. I thought everyone was watching me. I couldn't walk in public places. Man, I couldn't even drive. I ended up homeless and on the streets, living and sleeping in cardboard boxes, begging and struggling to find ways to get my next meal. I grew up with people who used drugs. In my country, my brother was, in the city where I was born, my brother was one of the leaders of a big cartel. No, I'm not gonna say that. When I grew up and I saw everyone will get addicted, even with weed. I use weed, I use a lot of drugs. I know, see, that was in the past, but I learned my lesson. The consequences of drugs are never good. I stopped killing. I stopped so many horrible things, burning houses of people. They didn't have any more feelings because you're not yourself anymore. Drugs take control of you soon or later, and you don't have a will over the drugs. Yes.
I get what you're saying. All right, look, what she said. She read a story from one guy that had a bad.
Two guys.
Oh, 2 guys. Hey, 2 guys that she probably doesn't know, or whoever she got it from, and they're telling their story about how drugs ruin their life. Yeah, but what the topic is do they have a right to consume illegal substances? And yes, they do. And if they're countering about like, oh, he shouldn't be doing that, well, then they have a right not to take it either. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to do it, but by law, by whatever in the law of God's eyes, whatever, do whatever you want to do, and you deal with the consequences. You learn from your mistakes. Everybody has morals somehow, no matter what. You know, if you're a bum in the streets or whatever you are, you did that to yourself. Nobody owes you nothing. Nobody owes you a living. You do it on your own. The decisions you make. And if you want to be a drug abuser, that's your fault. Let them wipe themselves out. Who cares? Who cares about, like, you know, like, worry about yourself before other people, like, I mean, in a sense of like in this position, like they're drug addicts or whatever you guys say. Let them do what they want to do. How is it hurting you guys personally? Does it hurt your feelings if you see somebody else doing it? Really? What are you doing about it? What are you doing about it personally? Are you gonna fight for that? No, you're not. You're not.
I'm a nursing student.
Nursing is for not the right to control, you know.
Thank you. Now, let's just listen to 10 people first.
I'm all for people doing their own thing, but there's a line when you see someone doing. Wait a minute, let me finish now.
No interruption, you guys. She has the floor.
You got this person doing drugs in their house, they're not hurting nobody, okay, that's your thing. But when that starts leaking out into the public, and you're killing children, and you're killing babies and fetuses, then that's when it draws a line. That's why they make rules.
That's exactly what we're saying.
But
limitation.
then, to stop that limitation, just stop it. Just don't even say, okay, it's cool to get high by yourself. Just stop it. Nip it in the bud before it even starts.
I got you on that, but who's gonna tell them to stop it? Themselves.
That's why
They
we
have
have
the
all.
right to do it or not to do it.
That's true, but that's why they have all these therapies and counseling and this and
Exactly.
that and
They
that.
have the right to,
So don't
they have the
even-
right to
don't
therapy.
even-
They have the right to
Why
help
and who's
themselves.
gonna pay for therapy? Taxes?
They have money to pay for
Okay, you
drugs.
guys.
Yeah, they have money to
Frida,
pay.
Frida now, answer for four.
Go ahead, Frida.
Frida!
Come on, girl.
I want to go on the merge of the consequences of the economics. Okay, there are negative consequences of
Can you
substance
speak louder,
abuse.
Frida, for them? Can you listen to that?
No, I can't hear.
You can be quiet. There are negative consequences of substance abuse as far as the economics, because it affects businesses, employees, they're unable to hold a job, the ones that do, they're stealing from their employers, absenteeism, the loss of productivity, it affects us all. You know, substance abuse, I'm totally against it. It's wrong, and that's just my true belief. It affects families, businesses, friends, especially my brother. Substance abuse is bad. He's homeless on the street, I can't find him. I'm joining NAMI so that maybe I can get some support, because it's wrong, and I'm totally against it, and that's my belief. And I'm some information from the National Institute on Drug Abuse, and it states that in 2009, there were nearly 4.6 million drug-related emergency departments nationwide. The businesses included reports of drug abuse, adverse reactions to drugs, or other drug-related consequences. Almost 50% were attributed to adverse reactions to pharmaceuticals taken as prescribed and non-prescribed. And lastly, I'd like to bring to the effect of the clinical. Most of those people in there, not to violate HIPAA, were substance abuse.
That's right.
And that is why they were there. Thank you.
All right.
And who has to pay for that? Us, taxes, our taxes. Why do I have to pay for if you say it's your right, you should pay for your own therapy. What about it's called labs in houses where they cook, where they prepare drugs outside, doing it in hotels here in San Diego. It's dangerous. If you're staying in another room, it's not only gonna affect you, it's gonna affect others. There's a lot of evidence that they can explode like easily. If you make a mistake on cooking the drugs, it's gonna explode and other people is gonna get hurt, not just you.
I want to be there when he uses it.
You have one more minute.
Okay, also,
Because we have to close it up.
Go ahead, Kitty.
a couple of my sisters, they were involved in drugs, actually 3 years. And then one of them is in Mexico. She lost everything. Her husband, her kids. She has a schizophrenia. She's getting better in treatment, but she will never be the same. Her brain is destroyed. Why? She didn't have the education for it, and maybe, I don't know what other reasons, but who's paying for that? She's not paying because she can't work. She's sick. She has a lot of problems with her health too. My mom has to be paying. My mom is paying for her. She's worried all the time. She has to be taking care of her. She's already 40. And also, my other sister, she lost her little boy because she couldn't think well. She put drugs on her backpack, and that her kid was taken away by foster. And she learned her lesson. She has her boy back now, and she started taking drugs just to lose weight. And after that, she planned that she was gonna leave the drugs, but she couldn't because they take control of you. They're bad, and they don't not only harm you, they harm your family, people around you, and also the community, because you have to drive, you have to work. What about work? If you have to use machines, I mean, you can get injured, or you can injure someone else,
And also, these are true stories. Mother faces death penalty for cooking her month-old baby to death in a microwave. She was under the influence. Another death. The U.S. father has been charged with putting his 5-week-old baby in oven for several hours while under the influence of marijuana. We think marijuana doesn't do anything. Larry Long, 33, alleged put the child in the oven after claiming to have hallucinated while smoking pot.
Okay, thank you, thank you. We're getting to the close of it.
I just want to make a comment.
Now, but we still have, okay, just 30 seconds each, all of you with your hands raised.
Go ahead, Kim.
Go, 30 seconds each.
Everything.
Those that have a hand.
Wait, how come everybody else got a minute and we get 30 seconds? Every other group that has gone has gotten a
You
minute
only
every
have a
time.
minute.
Good job, all right, Carrie.
You have the right to say that.
I do.
Because freedom.
Let Kimberly talk.
Can we release another
Damn,
Kimberly,
you guys
please?
rude.
She only has a minute.
Yeah.
Everything you do in this world has consequences, good or bad. You choose it. If you can't stop people from not doing stuff, you could say no, don't do this. That's bad. They'll just turn around and go do it if they really want to. You can't stop them.
Good point, Kim.
Thank you.
Okay, going back to what April said about the cost and how it is expensive, according to the DEA, it costs about $1,900 to clean up every time the meth lab is found, every time a raid is done, about $1,900. They also estimate that there was an average in 2004 of 9,777 meth labs raided. So that's an obvious economic, that's $1,900 every time. So it's obviously expensive, and if you don't do it, there's a big chunk of money that's being saved.
Thank you.
Just to say what you guys are saying, like it's so bad that there's no hope once you become addicted and all that. It's a fact. Okay, well, what I believe, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people, Edna, Maisha, you guys will agree with me when I say this.
Maisha and Edna?
No, listen to me, really, I know. If that happens to you, like you become, like you know what you're doing and you decide to do drugs and it gets that bad, and you start losing all these things, even if you lose a kid or whoever, a loved one, you lose something you love, everything happens for a reason. And God lets that happen. He allows that to happen. And if you think that you have no help, God will let all these bad things happen, so you have no one to go to but turn to Him and say, what can I do? I need help. And He will make a way. He will make a way even if there's no money involved or nothing. It will. There's always options.
He's trying to say there's always a way out. You know what makes was the minute? Sanitize, invoking God's name. So we are not going to do that. Okay, let us not do that. Okay, are we ready now for the closing statement?
I'll speak as a drug addict myself. Okay,
Prior.
So,
Thank
everything.
you for clarifying.
No, I'm just saying.
No,
Like
seriously.
the argument as the recreational drugs, right? Whether they have the right to use it or not. If everybody did have the right to use it, there's going to be a big consequence, and the bad outweighs the good. For one, recreational drugs is illicit. The reason why it's illicit and it's controlled in the law such as that, because abuse will happen without regulation. And as soon as regulation happens, and if there's regulation happens, abuse tends to minimize. For recreational drugs or anything, cocaine, crack, no matter what it is, it'll eventually become abused. And not only that person will be harmed, the people around that person will be harmed as well.
That's right.
Because not only I was hurting my family, I was hurting everybody around me. I stole from people, I jacked people from cars, I even put somebody up at knife point. But it was my choice to do it. But the thing was that as soon as I got to that point, I wasn't rationalizing what I was doing. I knew that there was help all around me. My father was there 24 hours trying to help me out. But without the regulation, without stopping these people from using it recreationally, abuse will ultimately happen. And if we don't regulate that, the worse it will become as a community.
Mike, sit here.
Do you know that it's not allowed, that's what you say that? All of you, okay?
I think as a society here in the U.S., we're not ready for that. Because there is a place in Europe where it's marijuana. And they have Amsterdam, there you go. They have, on the statistics, they have a lower crime rate when it comes to drugs.
But we're talking about here.
But here, I don't think we're not ready.
Now we're coming to the end of this. Closing time.
Yeah, we're just gonna use mics as our closing. Yeah.
You know, if I may say so, Mike attended an AA support group, and he poured his feelings in there. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Christine,
Yeah, I just want to say something. It's such a pleasure to be here. I mean, we're just coming out of your group, and this is a great opportunity. Thank you, and for being here.
Thank you.
you love me too.
Go to Cheesecake Factory.
Let's go. Can I recognize somebody, please? Can I recognize the one who put us back on track, Maisha, April? Thank you.